Bonjour et bienvenue à jefrench.com. In today's lesson we're going to learn the accents in French and how to change the pronunciation of some letters and some words. We're also going to look at some other sounds that are different and typical to the French language and how they are formed. We're going to start with l'accent aigu. L'accent aigu. You notice the accent is pointing forward. That's the I sound. When we learn the alphabet, we learn B, C, D, and it's the same sound. In words, it would be le café, le téléphone. The other accent that we're going to find very often is l'accent grave, where the accent is pointing backwards. This is a E sound, more open, E. Examples are le père, the father, la mère, the mother. Now we can also find l'accent grave on the A. In this case, it does not change the sound of the A, ah, ah. But it's used to differentiate between the verb avoir, which one example would be there, il a un problème, he has a problem, and a used as to, like je vais à Paris, I'm going to Paris. So it's only when we're writing it that we would put the accent on the A when we're using it as to instead of the verb avoir. We'll also find the accent grave on the OU sound, but that's only, it actually does not change the sound. It's only when we're writing it to make the difference between or and where. With the accent, it means where. Finally, my favorite, l'accent circonflexe. Or as I used to call it when I was a kid, the little Chinese hat. No offense to our Chinese friends studying with us. L'accent circonflexe is found on the E, A, O, U, and the I. It does not affect the sound of any of those letters except for the E. And we'll get to that in a minute. The accent grave usually means that the word in the old French language had an S or an additional letter that disappeared over time. And when they decided to do away with it, they just put an accent circonflexe on top of the E. Who knows why? For example, forest. In English, forest is forêt in French. And just like in English, it used to have an S. They did away with it and made a little note with the accent circonflexe. Now the way it's pronounced is exactly the way the accent grave is pronounced. It's the E sound, that open sound. Example of words with that in it are le prêtre, the priest, la bête, the beast, or the animal, le prêtre, la bête. Now we also find the same exact sound when we mix the A and the I together, like for example le maire, or the E and the I, la peine. Le maire is the mayor of a city. La peine, sadness. La peine, le maire. Now we know the E sound. Without the accent, the E is pronounced E. Other ways to write that same sound is EU, E, like in the example peu, which means little, or jeune, which means young. So the E sound, peu, jeune. Now we've also studied in the alphabet the O sound, O. It can also be written AU, O, and EAU, O. Finally, when we have the O sound followed by an N or an M, like bon or un bonbon, it becomes a nasal sound. Now those nasal sounds are, I think, typical to the French language. So they might take a little practice, but basically a nasal sound is a sound that kind of wants to come out of the nose instead of coming out of the mouth. On, bon, un bonbon. Bon means good. Un bonbon is a candy. So try it after me. Bon. un bonbon. Finally, another sound that's typical, I think, to the French language is the ouin sound. Ouin. For example, loin, which means far away. Loin. Another example, le point, the point. Le point. Also, when we talk about the sound that a duck makes, we usually say coin, coin. Same sound. Then again, the sound un. Now, when we studied on numbers, we had the number 1, numéro 1. There are different ways to write that sound. You can write it I-N, A-I-N, A-I-M, U-N, and U-M. Examples are le pain, the bread, le pain, la faim, hunger, la faim, or la fin, which means the end. You might see at the end of a French movie. Now the en sound can be spelled E-N, E-M, A-N, or A-M. Examples are je pense, I'm thinking, je pense, or tant, which means so much, tant. Another particular sound to the French language is the ILL sound, which is basically the same as the Y sound in yo-yo. ILL becomes pronounced as a Y. Examples are un maillot de bain, a bathing suit, un maillot de bain. Another example is la paille, straw, la paille. Finally, you've probably noticed before la cédille, little tail that comes under the C, la cédille. La cédille is used in front of a, O, or U to turn the C, which is normally a K sound, into a S sound. So, for example, la couleur, without a cédille, is color, la couleur. Le garçon, with a cédille, you notice that it becomes an S sound. Le garçon, which means the boy, which is also a name for a waiter. You can get the attention of your waiter by calling out garçon. Now, remember that it's only before the A, O, or U that you need the cédille, because in front of the E and the I, the C is automatically pronounced as an S. For example, la cédille does not take a cédille. Okay, this is it for this lesson. We hope you enjoyed it. Please come back and visit us at joefrench.com for more free French lessons. À bientôt!